How's it going, everyone? Chris here with the next episode of my Homefront weapon guide. This time we're going to look at the first SMG available in the game, the PWS Diablo. So there was a little bit of confusion as to whether the Diablo was actually a real gun in real life. It was thought by a few people to be the HK416, but the Diablo is actually a real weapon. It's made by Primary Weapon Systems, which is a small firearms manufacturing company in Idaho. Which is relatively quite small when you compare it to the likes of Colt and Heckler & Koch and all the big name firearms manufacturers. They design and engineer a range of different products and firearms, including the Diablo. So in Homefront, it's classed as a submachine gun, and it's the first one available, unlocked at level 1. So stats wise, it's obviously a fully automatic submachine gun. It has relatively high damage, but this is only prevalent at close ranges. You'll soon find, if you're used to the assault rifles, that the submachine guns aren't quite as good at long range, which makes sense. When I've been playing, I've kind of struggled a bit trying to get those long range shots with the submachine guns. You kind of find they have a high rate of fire, but that does result in quite a bit of recoil. So connecting those long range shots is a bit more difficult. So, like we said, it's got a high rate of fire and quite a moderate recoil. And out of the two SMGs, they both have quite a high ammo count. So obviously the SMGs, the submachine guns, are a great weapon class for getting up close and personal and kind of playing with rush tactics. What you really want to do is flank around the back of the enemy. Use the unlimited sprint that's available in Homefront to run all the way around the map, and you can cause havoc in the enemy spawn area and be a sniper's worst nightmare. Firing from the hip is probably the best approach with the SMGs, although you can aim down sights to connect medium range shots. Like I mentioned, the range isn't too good on the SMGs, so you really want to try and avoid those those long range confrontations, because you often end up losing out. So basically use cover where possible, and stick to the kind of high traffic areas to kind of take people by surprise. So let's look at some attachments that you might consider for the Diablo. The best, I think, is the silencer, which is unlocked at 25 kills. The whole tactics of rushing and kind of causing havoc in enemy spawn areas or being a sniper's worst nightmare, you want to keep yourself off the radar, because what you'll find is that as soon as you start killing one person, everyone will know where you are by that little red dot on the radar. So oftentimes you'll take out one person, then within seconds you'll be dead yourself from being hunted out by everyone else on the enemy team. Otherwise, if you're not a big fan of the iron sights, which aren't too bad, but most of the time you can get away with hip firing, especially at those super close ranges. But if you can't stand the iron sights whatsoever, you might consider the red dot sight, which is unlocked at 50 kills, or to see you through the other levels, just the holographic scope at 5 kills. I think the red dot sight is probably the best out of the two because of the larger window to see through, but obviously you need to use the weapon quite a lot to get those 50 kills before you can unlock the red dot sights. So let's take a look at some infantry abilities that best bring out the features of the Diablo and kind of go hand in hand with that rushing approach. First up, we've got tactical reload. Now the tactical reload in Homefront with the Diablo actually shortens down the reload time to half a second, which is super fast and keeps you in the action. In the last episode for the M4, I recommended quick draw, but with us tending to fire from the hip a lot, then we can save this space for the ability of Ghost. This will keep you off the radar altogether, especially when combined with the silencer. Anyone with a personal UAV sweep won't be able to see you, which is especially handy if you're hunting out those snipers who might have the sweep. Just keep an eye on the back, or if you're running around in the spawn area. It's worth remembering though that even though you've got the silencer and the Ghost ability, remember that if you're running around in the enemy spawn, you'll not last too long because of that overview that players get once you respawn into the battlefield. And the another infantry ability that I definitely recommend. This is probably the best ability that you can choose for the SMGs. Is straight from the hip. Now this is unlocked quite late on, but it really does make a difference. I've been playing around with Diablo for this guide. I've been using a mixture of straight from the hip or steady aim. And I definitely think that straight from the hip really does make a big improvement to the weapon. You can run around and take people out in close ranges without even aiming down sights, and it does make a big difference if you try and spray from the hip with steady aim instead of straight from the hip. You really notice the difference in how quick you can take people out. So they're my 3 options that you might want to consider. Obviously with Homefront you'll get a couple more slots that you can take advantage of, so you can make a couple of your own choices. So that's the Diablo. It's a really good weapon. Like I said, time and time again in this guide, it's great for getting up close and personal and kind of rushing around and just having basically a lot of fun in Homefront. The only problem is actually getting close to people, because obviously it's a game with large maps and long sight lines. So it can be difficult getting across the map and getting into those positions, but once you're there you can really go to town and take out multiple people. So give it a try, like I said, attach the silencer and that straight from the hip ability, and you can really go to town with it. So let me know how you get on. If you enjoyed this guide, be sure to subscribe, because I've got plenty more to come. I'll be reviewing all the weapons and drones and even the equipment in Homefront. So thanks for watching, I'll catch you all later.